Konnichiwa, I am back. I know it's been a few weeks. I was actually over in Japan, one of the coolest experiences of my life. And if you can suffer through the 14-hour flight from Eastern United States, I suggest you do it. Just a quick note before we start. I know that it has been a few weeks and there's been a major update. That's why we're making this video. I actually got to play for the first time last night. My voice is gone. You'll hear it in the gameplay. It just is what it is. Jet lag, exhaustion, and, a little sick with a sinus infection. All right. If you've been following our channel, you already know we've been pretty deep into gray zone warfare. We've covered the highs, the lows, the frustrations, and everything in between. But this update, this is the first time I've jumped in and thought, okay, this might actually be it. The visuals are gorgeous, the gun plays smoother and sounds cooler. The entire world just feels more alive and immersive. The menus feel cleaner, navigation is smoother. The tasks actually have a circle around them, which is a huge update instead of just going on your phone and Googling where people have done it before or watching YouTube videos. You spend way less time fighting the UI and more time actually fighting the enemies. If you look at the top of your screen at your compass, you'll see a bunch of green little boxes as well as blue. The green being your squad mates and the blue being local faction members out on the map. Now, there are no names above your squad mates, which is something that people have complained about before, but I actually like that. It makes the game feel more immersive, more like a hardcore mode, especially if we're going to add where your squad mates and faction members are to your compass and on your map. It's nice to bring a little realism to the actual game. I know I've already mentioned this before, but this game is beautiful and everything renders super quick where everything kind of took some time before. If you looked at a desk, the note might not populate initially, or it might be blurry, look like you needed glasses. Everything just seems smoother, feels like almost optimized like an Xbox or PlayStation. Yeah, I suck at shooting, I know. So for all the pores out there, this is being played on high, not ultra. Now, I can play Ultra, but for the video, I wanted it smooth as can be. But this is how good the game looks on high. To look this good and be this smooth is a huge update. I think you can tell just from watching the gameplay alone that the movement is markedly better. It's obvious the team put a lot of work into this patch, and it shows. And honestly, I expect they're going to keep improving it. My only hope is that they don't lose sight of what this game is supposed to be. This is a tactical team-based shooter. It's not Call of Duty. Look, I enjoy getting teabagged by a 12-year-old who just no-scoped me from 2 inches away after a 360 slide jump as much as the next guy. That's not why I'm here. I don't want to lose sight of what we got with this game.
You ready?
All right, let's talk about the AI, because this might be one of the biggest upgrades in the entire update. You're no longer fighting static targets that just laser you from across the map. The AI actually feels alive now. We've got roaming patrols moving through the map, which means you can run into contact anywhere, not just in the same predictable spots. When you do make contact, they're not all reacting the same way anymore. Some will push you, some will hold angles, and some will straight up disengage and reposition. That alone adds a whole new layer of depth that just was not here before. Alright, I'm putting a pause in the narration to completely contradict myself with this bullshit.
Oh! How is that? How the fuck does that happen? I'm just waltzing up behind you guys, and I just get boom, shot in the face out of nowhere.
Alright, back to the pre-scripted narration. And honestly, one of the best parts, they don't just instantly headshot you from 200 meters like they used to. The fights feel more fair, more readable, but still dangerous. They'll communicate, talk trash, react to what's happening. It actually feels like you're fighting other players at times, not just bots. On top of that, they're tougher, better armor, more durability. You actually have to think about your shots now instead of dropping them instantly. So overall, the AI isn't just harder, it's smarter, more dynamic, and more immersive. And that completely changes how you approach every fight. Alright, let's talk enemy density. This is where things really get intense. There are more enemies on the map, and you feel it immediately. You're not just picking off 1 or 2 targets anymore. You're getting into full-on engagements. Fights are bigger, longer, louder, and way more chaotic. You'll start an engagement thinking it's small, and then all of a sudden more enemies start pouring in, flanking, pushing, stacking. It forces you to stay sharp the entire time. And because of that, the need for overwhelming firepower becomes huge. You can't just rely on clean single shots anymore. Good positioning and team coordination to actually win these fights. If you're not controlling the engagement, you're getting overrun. It's that simple. Let's cover some health and healing, because this is another area that feels noticeably different and was a major complaint from players before. It's not as dire and immediate as it used to be. Before you take a couple hits and it felt like you were instantly on the edge of death, needing blood. Now, with the way the armor is working, you can actually absorb a bit more damage and stay in the fight longer. That alone changes the pace of engagements, and healing itself just feels faster and more streamlined. If you got your meds set up properly, you can throw them in your pocket, hit H, and you're good. You're back in the fight without digging through menus or breaking all your momentum. It's a small change on the surface, but it makes a big difference in how fights play out. You're spending less time panicking and more time making decisions. Look, I know it was annoying for all of us to lose all of our shit. But overall, this update is a big step forward for Gray Zone Warfare. Movement's smoother, gunplay's tighter, the visuals look better, and for once, everything actually feels like it's working with you and not against you. The AI is smarter, fights are more intense. You're not just casually strolling through the map anymore. You actually have to think a little bit, which is kind of new. Even healing and inventory don't feel like a full-time job now. You get hit, you fix it. You move on with your life. So yeah, everything flows a little better. And if they keep building on this without overcomplicating it, this game is in a really good spot. But anyway, obligatory helicopter ride out to end the video. If you guys like, subscribe. I'll keep making videos. I think it's fun. I enjoy it. All right, guys, have a great day.